Pentagon UFO footage was never supposed to be revealed to the public. But now, someone in the US government has accidentally leaked it. It's the biggest scandal in NASA history, and I'm here to tell you all about it.
How do you know that these were not our aircraft?
These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. I don't have an explanation for it.
Guys, please switch to your incognito browsers, because I'm about to tell you something that the government doesn't want you to hear. They've been caught red-handed, and this time, they can't weasel their way out of it.
The Pentagon is clearly covering something up. I mean, you don't even need this report. I mean, both President Trump and former President Barack Obama have both stated that they've seen information that's not been released, and I just think the Pentagon is treating us like children.
The Pentagon has officially, yes, officially, released 3 videos of what they like to call unidentified aerial phenomena. But let's not kid ourselves. We know exactly what they are. They're UFOs, and the government has been covering this up for years. And I, for one, am not buying their weak excuses. Now, these videos weren't supposed to see the light of day. They were leaked by someone on the inside, a brave whistleblower who couldn't stomach the lies any longer. And what do these videos show, you ask? Strange flying objects, moving at impossible speeds, darting through the sky like they're mocking our feeble understanding of physics. The military's infrared cameras captured them, and let me tell you, the reaction from the pilots is priceless. You can hear them freaking out, amazed at how fast these things are. One poor guy tries to suggest that maybe it's just a drone. Bless his heart. But we all know better. I know better. And if you've been paying attention, you should know better too. The Navy admitted last year that the footage was real, and now the Pentagon is pretending to release it on their own terms, like they're doing us all a favor. Their official excuse is that they want to clear up any misconceptions about whether the footage was real. Classic misdirection, if you ask me. They're hoping we'll be so dazzled by their generosity that we won't ask the real question. What else are they hiding? I've been asking these questions for years, and I'm not about to stop now.
More people. They keep coming up with the same story, the same reporting, something you yourself say you have also confirmed.
I have multiple sources and also sources that came forward after my report. This is not circular reporting. This is not just folklore. The Pentagon is clearly covering something up.
Sue Goff, the Pentagon spokesperson, says that the videos don't reveal any sensitive military capabilities. Translation: we're only showing you the stuff that doesn't make us look completely incompetent. She also claims that this won't interfere with ongoing investigations into unidentified aerial incursions. That's government speak, for we're still trying to figure out how to spin this without admitting we've known about these things for decades.
How do you know that these were not our aircraft?
These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. I don't have an explanation for it.
And I'm going to be real with you guys. I have no doubt in my mind that they've known far, far more than they'll ever let slip. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Navy has put together some brand new guidelines for pilots on how to report UFOs. Let me spell that out for you. Pilots have been seeing these things so often that the military had to come up with a whole system to document it. This isn't some one-off event. This is happening constantly. And I, personally, am more than a little concerned that nobody seems to be demanding real answers. The videos first surfaced thanks to an organization called to the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. Sounds innocent, right? Just some researchers with a love for the unknown?
My whole career was about solving really hard problems. This is a hard problem from so many different directions.
Well, buckle up, because this organization was co-founded by none other than Tom DeLonge, the Blink-182 guy. If a rock star is the one dragging the truth out of the Pentagon, you know we're in deep. What does it say about our government when a punk musician has better intel than the people running the country? And if you think this is all just a bunch of grainy, unconvincing footage, let me introduce you to David Fravor.
You know, my name is David Fravor. I'm a retired commander in the United States Navy.
And he's seen one of these things up close. In 2017, he described an encounter that will send chills down your spine.
As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. The weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego.
He was flying in his jet, minding his own business, when he spotted one of these objects. It wasn't just hovering or floating around like a balloon. That thing was moving, fast.
As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared.
He tried to get closer, but the thing shot off like a bullet, disappearing in less than 2 seconds. You heard that right. A craft that moved like a ping-pong ball bouncing off a wall. Our best technology can't do that. Nothing in our arsenal can do that.
Shocking to us is that the incident was never investigated, none of my crew were ever questioned, tapes were never taken, and after a couple days it turned into a great story with friends.
So what exactly did Fravor see? And more importantly, why isn't the government doing anything about it? Because if I saw something like that, you better believe I'd be demanding some real answers. Oh, but they have been doing something. They've been investigating this for years, behind closed doors, funneling money into a classified program that they never wanted us to know about. It was called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and it ran from 2007 to 2012. According to them, they shut it down because they had higher priorities. That's government double talk, for we couldn't keep justifying spending money on this without people asking questions. But we know better. I know better. The program didn't end. It just went deeper underground. Luis Elizondo, the former head of this program, says there's compelling evidence that we are not alone. Let me repeat that. A man who worked for the Department of Defense just casually admitted that we may not be the only intelligent beings in the universe. And what do? Shrug and move on? No way. This is the smoking gun we've been waiting for. Elizondo even resigned from the Pentagon in 2017 in protest because they refused to take this seriously. That tells you everything you need to know. And I, for one, am not the least bit surprised. Even former Senator Harry Reid, who helped get this program off the ground, said that these videos are just the tip of the iceberg. He tweeted that the research and materials available go way beyond what's been shown to the public. That means there's more, a lot more, and it's locked away in some classified vault where the American people will never see it. I can't be the only one who finds this absolutely outrageous. Congress is still poking around trying to get answers. Last summer, senators got a classified briefing about these unidentified aircraft. That's right, classified. If these were just harmless weather balloons or some experimental aircraft from another country, why would our top lawmakers need a secret meeting about it? I'll tell you why. Because the truth is so mind-blowing that they can't risk it getting out. And if you ask me, that's all the confirmation we need. Senator Mark Warner's spokesperson made some vague statement about how they need to figure out whether these things are a threat to our pilots. That's rich. They already know these things exist. They already know they can outmaneuver anything we've got, and they're still pretending like they need to investigate. Give me a break. So, what does this all mean? It means the government has been lying to us for years. It means they know way more than they're letting on. It means that somewhere, in some hidden lab or secret base, they have information that could change the world as we know it. And yet, they keep us in the dark. And I, for one, am not okay with that. Wake up, people. This isn't science fiction. This is real. The evidence is staring us in the face, and the people in power are doing everything they can to keep us distracted. They release a few videos, throw us a bone, and hope we won't dig any deeper. But we're onto them. I'm onto them. We know the truth is out there, and one way or another, we're going to find it. This wasn't the only instance of the Navy spilling the beans on alien encounters. You must have heard of that Tic Tac UFO incident. On November 14th, 2004, U.S. naval aviators were sent to intercept an object that defied all logic. This thing took off like a bullet from a gun, moving at speeds and in ways that should be impossible. They called it the Tic Tac because, well, it looked like one, except it was 45 feet long and could outmaneuver anything we've got in the sky. The Navy spotted this thing multiple times throughout November, but did they tell us then? Of course not. The footage of the Tic Tac, captured by Navy pilots, was conveniently buried by the military. Why? Because if people saw it, they'd start asking the wrong kinds of questions. It took a secretive investigation based out of Las Vegas to bring to light just how revolutionary this encounter was. For 2 weeks in November, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group's highly advanced sensor systems were detecting these bizarre aerial visitors off the coast of Southern California. 1 second they were there, the next they were gone. Finally, on November 14th, radar operators managed to lock onto one, the Tic Tac. Enter Top Gun pilot David Fravor. Commander of the Black Aces Strike Fighter Squadron 41, Fravor was sent to check it out. He's been in the skies for years, but nothing could prepare him for what he saw. To this day, his story has never changed. Fravor remembers the following. The video was taken by a crew after us. When we came back and landed, there were 4 of us. We chased it visually, and I looked at it for over 5 minutes. Fravor saw the object move like nothing he'd ever seen. It had no wings, no rotors, no visible propulsion system, and yet it moved with speed and agility far beyond our most advanced fighter jets. I've thrown in an animation so you know what he's talking about. To this day, Fravor and his team have no idea what they saw, but they know one thing. It wasn't from here. And the government? Well, they'd rather you not think too hard about that. Now I want to shift gears a little bit and take you guys to Antarctica. It's not just barren ice and penguins, this place. There are things down there that the government doesn't want us to know about. I've seen the reports, I've heard the whistleblowers, and I know there's something they're hiding. Strange sightings, hidden bases, and encounters that defy logic have been reported. But as always, officials would rather keep us in the dark. McMurdo Station, the largest research hub in Antarctica, has seen its fair share of bizarre occurrences. In 2015, a retired Navy flight engineer, identified only as Brian, reached out to investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe with a story that shook me to my core.
There's something about this hole that is now causing these problems.
Brian spent 14 years working in Antarctica, and for most of that time, it was business as usual until suddenly it wasn't. During a mission in the Transantarctic Mountains, Brian and his crew witnessed multiple, unidentified, silvery, spherical objects maneuvering around the peaks. These objects weren't just hovering aimlessly. They moved with purpose, darting in coordinated groups before vanishing into thin air. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a weather balloon do that. But that wasn't even the most shocking part. On another mission, Brian's team was forced to fly into a classified no-fly zone due to a medical emergency. What they saw there was beyond comprehension. A massive, gaping entrance in the ice at least 200 feet in diameter, leading straight down into the unknown. As they flew closer, their instruments malfunctioned. Navigation systems went haywire, compasses spun out of control, and electrical failures swept through the aircraft. Then, before they could even begin to make sense of what they were witnessing, they were intercepted by men in suits, men who had no business being in Antarctica. Brian believed they were from Washington, D.C., and they made one thing very clear: never speak of what they saw, and never fly over that area again. Now, call me paranoid, but when the government tells someone to shut up, that's when you know they've found something big. The secrecy surrounding Antarctica doesn't stop there. Consider Admiral Richard Byrd's infamous 1946 expedition, Operation High Jump. Officially, it was a military exercise, but Byrd's hidden diary, allegedly discovered after his demise, tells a much different story. He wrote about flying over the South Pole and encountering a lush green land, escorted by disc-shaped crafts to an advanced civilization deep within the Earth. There, he met a being known as the Master, who warned him about humanity's reckless use of nuclear weapons. When Byrd returned, he was silenced by his superiors, and his account was buried. I don't know about you, but if a decorated admiral with no history of lying suddenly gets gagged, I start asking questions. And it's not just Byrd's story that raises eyebrows. Throughout the years, UFOs have been spotted near nuclear sites across the globe, even reportedly disabling warheads at missile silos. Why are they so interested in our most destructive technology? I have a theory. Maybe they know we're too reckless to be trusted with weapons that could destroy more than just our own planet. If extraterrestrials are keeping an eye on us, Antarctica might be their secret base of operations, and that means the government is in on it. In 2018, a retired Navy SEAL, known only as Spartan 1, came forward with an incredible claim. He had seen an ancient octagonal structure buried beneath the ice. The doors, he said, were 30 feet thick, yet they opened effortlessly. Inside, the temperature was a warm 70 degrees, and glowing green symbols lined the walls. This wasn't a human-made structure. This was something else, something far older and far more advanced. Now, I've never been to Antarctica, but if I ever got the chance, you bet I'd be looking for this place myself, because what the F are these people talking about? Is this why they keep telling us Antarctica is not human or tourist-friendly, so that we don't go see for ourselves? In fact, there's an entire sector in the Antarctic that's forbidden for unauthorized personnel. These are the Antarctic Specially Protected Areas, or ASPAs. These sites are supposedly set aside to safeguard the environment under the Antarctic Treaty System, requiring special permits to access. Sounds innocent enough, right? But let's be real, guys. Come on. When has the government ever gone to great lengths to protect something without an ulterior motive? These zones are backed by multiple nations, including the United States, Russia, and the United Kingdom, and for some reason, they are heavily restricted. If all they're hiding is a few patches of snow and some fragile ecosystems, why all the secrecy? The thing that really gets me is that people who go in don't come back, or if they do, they stay completely silent. No leaked footage, no rogue scientists coming forward, nothing. And then there's the bizarre enforcement of these restrictions. Some say even getting too close to the border results in swift apprehension by heavily armed security teams. Others, half-jokingly, mention specially trained security penguins guarding the perimeter. But I'm telling you, it's no joke. What are they hiding in there? My gut tells me there's something under that ice, something ancient, something powerful, and something the world isn't supposed to know about. I'm talking about aliens if you're a bit slow. Let me also just tell you about a few more places. Area 51. Officially, it's part of the U.S. Air Force's Nevada Test and Training Range, a site for testing experimental aircraft. But let's be real. Why would they deny its very existence until 2013 if there wasn't something far more interesting going on there? For decades, locals and tourists alike have reported strange aircraft flying over the desert skies near Groom Lake. Planes like the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird were developed there, sure, but those don't explain the truly bizarre sightings. The biggest rumor I've heard is that the infamous 1947 Roswell crash, supposedly a UFO, was covered up, and its wreckage, along with alien bodies, was transported to Area 51 for study. If you're interested in learning about that crash, go to my channel because you'll find quite a bit of info. My OG followers know what I'm talking about. So anyway, back to Area 51. This dude, Bob Lazar, a scientist who claimed in 1989 to have worked there, insisted he was part of a project to reverse engineer alien technology down in Area 51. He described flying saucers and advanced propulsion systems unlike anything on Earth. Of course, the government dismissed his claims, just like they always do when someone gets too close to the truth. No one even knows what this guy is doing anymore, to be honest. But at least Area 51 isn't a secret anymore, even if it's still off-limits to the public. Try getting too close, and you'll be met with armed guards, surveillance drones, and enough security to make you wonder, what exactly are they still hiding? And that too, in plain sight. Now onto another potential alien base. Did you ever think the Grand Canyon would be on this list? Yeah, that's right. One of the most famous landmarks on Earth might just be home to an alien gateway, and the so-called experts don't want you to know about it. Think about it. If you were an alien watching over humanity, how would you do it? Would you hang out in the sky where everyone could see you? Nah, that's way too obvious. Would you land in the middle of Times Square and announce your presence? Too risky. The smartest way to do it would be to blend in, to hide in plain sight. And what better way to do that than in a massive ancient canyon with miles of unexplored terrain? This theory got a fresh jolt of energy back in 2022 when a guy named Wayne Wells made an insane discovery using Google Earth. He claimed to have found a rectangular doorway carved into the rugged cliffs of the Grand Canyon. Of course, skeptics immediately tried to dismiss it as a trick of the light or an old mining shaft. But come on, do we really believe that? Why would a perfect rectangle just randomly appear in the middle of nowhere? That's not how nature works, and this isn't even the first time strange things have been reported in the Grand Canyon. Back in the 1960s, a college student named Hank Krassman had an experience you will not believe is real. He was led, blindfolded mind you, deep into the canyon by his Hopi friend, Kopavi. When the blindfold came off, all Krassman saw was an ordinary rock wall, but when he reached out to touch it, his hand went straight through it. That's right, guys, he passed right through solid rock like it was nothing. On the other side was a hidden city. Not just any city, but one that was advanced beyond anything humans have built. It had high-tech tunnels, towering structures, and an energy that just didn't feel of this world. Area 51 is only about 240 miles away. The Nevada Triangle, where planes and pilots have vanished without a trace, that's right near the southeastern edges of the canyon. And let's not forget Dulce Base in New Mexico, a place rumored to be a secret underground facility where humans and aliens work together on classified experiments. Yeah, you heard me. The truth is, The Grand Canyon is way more than just a pretty place to take vacation photos. It might just be the best-kept extraterrestrial secret in history, and we don't even know it. If you still need proof that aliens and UFOs exist, let me shift your focus to some other countries where the government authorities aren't as successfully secretive as the United States. Let's say, for example, so do you now believe that the government knows and has always known that aliens exist? Why do you think they're hiding this from us? Tell me what you think, because their reasoning is beyond me.